Question 3. Why are most people scared of vertical travel to take the higher spiritual path for the self-enlightenment? Answer. The path of self-enlightenment is the most difficult path on this earth. It is the skyward path. For the skyward journey, one needs to leave most of the horizontal accessories and activities, and it is not possible for everybody to leave the material goods and worldly comforts. The world is Maya and it has all the attractions or gimmicks to attract the jiva to enjoy. The skyward path of self-enlightenment is the path to be in the void, to be alone, and to be with the blessings of the Almighty. To achieve His blessings is not the mechanical process. One can achieve His blessings by His grace and only if He wants to bestow. The horizontal path has some hope and guarantee for achievement of the desired results or comforts, but the vertical path is the probe in the darkness, and there is no surety for any achievement and even for His grace. It all depends on His mercy. One follows the divine path of self-realization by the mercy and kindness of Almighty, otherwise even the inclination to follow this path does not arise. Even if inclination is bestowed, the difficulties in the path leave no stone unturned to discourage the follower. So, most of the spiritual aspirants, even if they are interested, are scared to take up the vertical journey. They pray to God outwardly by lighting lamps, put agrabatti before God's idol and pray, do some puja, arti etc. and beg for material comforts. The vertical path is full of difficulties. It is the path both with positive and negative inclinations. Any time one can fall or bend towards negative inclination and can suffer miserably. This path is the path having multiple antipoles. Horizontal path is the path of awareness and full of mental activities. The mind is mutative and so the path is also variable depending on the horizontal norm. But, the vertical path is a straight and narrow path without any change and glamour. It is a dry and hard path. The horizontal path is governed by cause and effect. But in the vertical path, cause is Shiva and desire is Shakti. It is the process to couple Shiva and Shakti to cause evolution. There is no interaction that causes evolution in the horizontal path. In the horizontal worldly path, cause is Brahma and effect is Maya, the illusion. On the contrary, the vertical path revolves around the cause of Shiva and effect of spiritual evolution. Both are antipoles of the Maya, but Maya is also Brahma. So, horizontal and vertical paths are the two sides or corners of the Almighty as the antipoles, and away from each other. Horizontal activities and worldly life of a human being are governed by manifested Brahma, Saguna Brahma, and the vertical activities are in the control of the Absolute, the unmanifested, void, silence, and the achievement in the vertical travel is governed by Nirguna Brahma. Sadashiva is the cause of manifestation from the Absolute, the unmanifested void. Nada Akshar Brahma governs the horizontal manifested world, the Maya, whereas absolute silence is the domain of Sadashiva, unmanifested void. Desires create feelings, and to fulfill desires mind, Jivatma, Brahma the Maya, cooperate through the outer manifested world, but if the desires are not fulfilled by influence of X factors, the unknown cosmic forces, the individual becomes against the Jagata the Brahma. If he is successful, his egoism is boosted and he gives credit to the self and not to the Maya and not even to the X factor that have really contributed to his success silently. In the same way, Jagat or world is in between soul and supernal, and unless there is no cooperation of Maya, that is the Jagat or world, the soul cannot merge with supernal. So, Maya needs to be propitiated for any success, even in a spiritual vertical journey. Horizontally, the Maya is very powerful and only by his wish vertical journey can be undertaken. In other words, unless and until a person does not develop vairagya or detachment from the horizontal activities, he cannot proceed to the vertical path. So desires must be curtailed to take up spirituality. Man must be desireless, then only a divine vertical path can be commenced. Similarly, Jiva can only pray to Ishvara or Almighty, provided Jagat or world, the Maya, cooperate with him. Until then he will be merged with Jagat, the world, and will be bounded in the horizontal moorings. When these moorings of Maya for the Jiva cease to exist, then only he started climbing the vertical path. In horizontal journeys, the solution can be found for any activity. It is a tangible journey, but in vertical travel nothing can be proved and no solution can be easily apprehended. Maya, Jagat puts up a lot of resistance to take the vertical journey. Aham or self of the individual comes in the way and miseries are put forward by Maya the Jagat. These will pull the sadhaka back to the horizontal plane even if the sadhaka puts his best efforts to conquer it. So grace of the Maya, the collective worldly force, is very essential so that vertical journey can be commenced. Without blessings of Jagat the world, a sadhaka cannot proceed, since being in physical form even for commencing spiritual vertical path he needs to depend on horizontal activities and various types of assistance from the world the Maya. So Maya must allow a sadhaka by his grace to leave him, and it is not that easy. The Maya shall cooperate to leave his own moorings. So to adopt the vertical path depends on the mercy of Maya, the Brahma, that is the antipole of Sadashiva, the unmanifested void, the peak of the verticality. That is the only reason why very courageous people by the grace of Almighty can take up a vertical journey to the abode of Almighty. The Maya, the Jagat, needs to create favorable circumstances for such sadhakas to take up vertical travel. Grace of the world and cooperation of the worldly people are essential for vertical travel. Sadhaka needs to know or understand Jagat or Maya or world very closely. He needs to dissolve his ego before or in the world. He must be humble. His ego must be flexible. All horizontal problems he must accept happily. He must accept defeat temporarily with all humility. He needs to pray to the X factor, pray to Maya, and accept the superiority of otherworldly human beings. Withdrawal and defeat from Maya, sadhaka must accept as the blessings to take up the vertical journey. He must be aware that this is a dualistic world. Nobody is always the winner. The situation changes very rapidly. He must be clear that the possibility of defeat opens up for success with time. His ego must not interfere if he is defeated temporarily. Right adjustment and readjustment need to be carried out in the horizontal plane for taking an upward journey. Time, space and consciousness are always mutative. A sadhaka must be disciplined to know the depth of this philosophy for the skyward journey. For self-strength, a sadhaka must practice kumbhaka and use shunyaka techniques. Sadhaka must know that Vasudeva even prayed to donkeys for not to bray before taking out the child Krishna from the prison of King Kansa. He even prayed to river Yamuna for giving way in her stream of water so that he could cross Yamuna to bring Yogamaya baby to hand over to Devaki. For travel to the vertical path, sadhaka's ego must not come on his way. He must not show egoism even to the donkeys. He must know that the world, the Maya, is much more powerful than an individual. No single individual sadhaka can fight with Almighty Maya in the horizontal plane, since he survives on the horizontal plane and takes a journey abode to the vertical and again comes back to the horizontal plane for his survival. So without cooperation of Maya horizontal plane activities, his journey to the vertical will be a dream and full of miseries. Sadhaka must know that he has duty for the known, the manifested world, the Maya, and also for the unknown, the unmanifested world, the Sadashiva, the void, and he cannot ignore any of them since both are bipolar of the same almighty force, the Brahma. He must merge with the unknown, the Ishwar. It is the spiritual realization, and it is possible by vertical journey, by merger of the soul with supernal, by attending the state of samadhi. But to achieve this Jagat or world and Jiva, that is Mahamaya, the other half of Siva, must be adored and must be understood prior to knowing its implication before taking an upward journey. Horizontal travel gives photographic memory but does not induce the art of intuition, whereas vertical journey gives divine wisdom, intuition, and divine qualities. On the horizontal plane, the dignitaries like Hitler, Alexander never accepted defeat and were not aware of the power of unknown X factor. And because of their super-ego and by not visualizing the superior power of Almighty, finally they got caught in the misery. They destroyed all their gains or moorings. Even Lord Krishna accepted the superiority of the X factor. He acknowledges that the X factor can defeat or help anybody. So in the Mahabharat war he invited Karna, son of Kunti, through his mother Kunti, so that Karna must fight on behalf of Pandavas since he was the son of sun god. Karna declined, but Lord Krishna accepted his supremacy and the power of X factor. He also made it clear to Arjuna that Pandavas will win the war, although their army is only 6 akshoni as compared to 12 akshoni of Duryodhan. The reason being that Dev Yoga, the Krishna, as Dev Shakti, was with Pandavas. So in the nutshell it can only be said that the vertical path is the most complex and difficult path, and by the grace of X factor and by the blessing of Maya, and by the wish of Almighty, one can follow this path. By its own, no human being has the courage even to think to adopt this path. One lives in horizontality and leads his life in horizontal activities. The vertical path takes us to the source, and the horizontal path is the mundane path, but without cooperation, a sadhaka cannot take up the vertical path.